doesn't matter, you're right.
Do you have air conditioning at your house?
Yeah, that's what I told him.
Power.
So it doesn't matter.
You don't have power?
That's too bad,
Still?
Paul.
Came down.
No, I mean, not,
Paul, you can leave it, doesn't matter.
Today?
not,
Somebody hit it?
that's not how I meant it,
I know.
but yes.
From New York,
Really?
the main line coming down 28 over by,
No, but, okay. But regardless,
poor woman from
regardless of that,
New York, in front of a car.
do you have air conditioning in your house?
No.
Not even a window unit?
I have window units, I haven't put them in yet.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a while.
I
This
don't-
tree's gotta be a couple of years. Three of us could put it on the roof. Just as the big branch came down.
Good evening. We'll call the meeting of July 7th to order. And the first item on the agenda is approval not required plans. We do not have any. The second item on the agenda is the decision for Nathan Ellis Highway LLC special permit to use a portion of the property located at 210 Nathan S. Ellis Highway for a waste disposal contractor. I guess I have a question I'd like to bring up to the board. Does anyone want to revisit our decision on this?
Yes.
Talk about it some more?
Yes, I would like to. I would.
How about you, Ralph? I'm in favor of,
I'll listen.
okay. Marlene, do you have any guidance for us on this move?
Yeah, so a number of you have asked me if this is possible, and yes, it is. You can reconsider, the board can always reconsider a vote that you've taken. What you'll have to do is, someone will have to make a motion that they want to reconsider last week's vote. The vote necessary is a majority, so 4 out of the 6 eligible people will have to vote in favor of reconsidering the vote from last week. And I'll help you go step by step so we don't miss anything, but that's step 1.
Do we have any discussion before we take the vote, or do we go right into the vote?
It's a full, you can discuss, so motion, second,
Second.
open it for discussion, and then let
Okay.
everybody have their say and call for the vote.
I would like to make a motion to reconsider the vote of last week on the Nathan Ellis Highway special permit.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Wait a minute, you got a discussion now.
No,
She just
Just
said you have
discussion.
to have
Yes, she did
discussion.
say.
discussion, okay, sorry.
Come on.
Discussion, okay, I'm in favor of it. One of the things that I felt was that, I thought if maybe we had made different conditions, that the board might have passed the decision. And if that's not the case, then it's not the case, but I certainly thought it was worth exploring to see if that could have been done. And the way the voting went, that was not, didn't work out that way. So that's one of the reasons why I'd like to talk about it. Anybody else?
I believe the sticking point was the second paragraph in condition 6, and I believe Ralph made the best point about that, is that if we struck that from this this motion, from this permit, the applicant could come back at a later time to change hours and things like that, but it seemed to be that was the sticking point, and I believe it would have passed had that not been there. So I think Ralph was right on target with his suggestion that we do that, and I realized that there were 2 motions to change that that didn't pass, and I was one of the people that voted for those motions to eliminate that paragraph because of what Ralph said. But I voted in favor of it overall because I looked at it as I didn't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and I was looking at it was different from the last time because of a 6-month period where we could review it. So I was willing to go that route just to not, like I said, throw the baby out with the bathwater.
That was my feelings as well. I didn't feel all that strongly. I just barely favored leaving that language in there, but not to stop the whole thing. And if it did change any of the other board members, then I thought that's where we made a mistake, is not taking that condition out the way it was suggested. I didn't feel, I was like 60-40 on it. That was my thoughts. Anybody else? Doug?
I like the language being in there because I thought it was practical, but I think it would be a shame to have this be defeated over that small item, so I'd be willing to reconsider that.
Any comments from anybody else?
So Marlene, do we need a motion?
Yeah,
to?
we have the motion.
We
I
have-
can call for the vote right now if this discussion's done. I'm just waiting
Okay.
to see if
So-
anybody else wants.
So we vote on the first motion, and then we have to have another motion.
I'll walk you through a number of
Okay.
steps, yeah, to make
Okay.
sure we don't
The
forget any pieces.
the first motion is to revisit it,
Yeah, to reconsider.
Reconsider it.
The vote.
Okay.
and we need a majority.
Right, you need 4 out of 6.
Okay. So,
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye. We're reconsidering.
Abstain.
Okay.
Okay, so, Mr. Chairman, if I can just give the board some guidance here, there's a couple of things that need to happen. The first thing I recommend you do is actually formally vote to rescind last week's vote, because it's a valid vote, and we do need to, we need to make it clear, now that you're willing to reconsider, it doesn't mean that you're bound to make any different decision, you're just willing to reconsider it. My first recommendation is that you rescind last week's vote and you start fresh again with a blank slate. Because that way we can clearly tie up the vote from last week. We can't just ignore it. And that, I'm sorry, that'll be the same. It would require a motion and a second and also a majority.
Okay, I move that we rescind July 2nd's vote on the Nathan Ellis Highway LLC special permit.
I would second that.
June 30th,
I'm sorry, June 30th was it?
yeah.
My
Right.
dates don't subtract,
Yeah,
right?
I think
In my
so.
head.
Yeah, June 30th.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
If this vote passes, do we go back to public hearings again?
No,
It's
no.
closed.
So this would just this would just tie up last week's vote. It would be rescinded. You take it back.
Understand that?
You will then go, the next step will be that the motion, which is why which is why you have a couple of different things in your packet. The motion will be brought back, will be laid back on the table for you to discuss, amend, debate again. You're not, this is not a new application.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second.
Oh, yes, Ralph?
Yeah, if the letter to the town clerk announcing the decision that we made on June 30th had been filed right after we met, then we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing right now.
You can rescind a vote, but you could rescind it, but you couldn't render a different decision. Correct.
Okay.
Without a new application.
All right, so in the past, at what point are our decisions passed on to the town clerk?
So let me give you an example. The CVS on Davis Straits had the same exact resulting vote. It was 4-2-1, which was actually a positive vote to approve, but did not meet the supermajority to issue the permit. So from our experience with CVS, our guidance from Attorney Harris was that if we get into that situation again, we don't do it like we did for CVS. So what happened with CVS was the day after you voted, your motion was to approve. It said the motion, or the decision was at its meeting of whatever date, the planning board voted to approve. And that was the final action filed with the town clerk. And at the bottom, just like in this letter, it listed the vote of the board, and it had 2 no's, so the permit didn't issue. That left a very confusing result, because the permit, or I should say the decision, filed the next day, Wednesday morning, with the town clerk, said that it was approved, even though it did not issue. So there's this semantic problem with it's approved by a majority of you, but it's not issued because of the supermajority requirement. So Attorney Harris's advice and counsel to us is that if this were to happen again, the planning board has 14 days under Chapter 40A to file its final action, its written decision with the town clerk. So kind of to allow for these types of scenarios. So Pat's recommendation to us is that instead of doing what we did for CVS, which was actually filing a decision that said it was approved, to come back to you with language saying that it's denied, saying why it's denied, and listing the vote. So this is a change. We didn't do this for CVS. I think we learned from that process. I'm bringing a recommendation to you based on council's advice that we not use that process again when a permit is approved by a majority but not issued.
Okay, thank you. It sounds to me as though what we're doing is the right thing, and that probably in the near future, we should adopt this as a policy when these types of circumstances are presented to us, so that there's no question about when the planning board can or cannot consider reconsideration of a vote.
If the board, we can certainly put that on the agenda for the board to decide if they want write a policy.
Well, that'd be my suggestion, but certainly
Yep.
it's up to the chairman to put it on the agenda.
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, we went through the whole thing, we voted on,
Did you vote to rescind? I don't think you
No, we
voted to
haven't.
rescind.
no, we only have to take the vote, okay, that's what
Yeah.
we have.
Okay.
So, excuse me. All those in favor of rescinding our vote of June 30th, please raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
That's all of us
Okay.
that can vote, one abstention. I got you, Paul. I realize
That
that.
you said all of us.
With one abstention. That was- Okay,
Okay, so the next step is, so this first packet in your agenda, the letter to the town clerk, is what is, you can set that aside. That's not moving
Yes.
forward. That's the rescinded vote.
right.
The second piece of information in your packet is, I'm going to recommend that you kind of pick it back up where you left off before the vote last week. So this draft dated July 7th is the same motion you had last Tuesday with the amendments that did pass. So where it said parking of 15 municipal solid waste trucks, it now says parking, storage, and maintenance. And where it said storage of 100 municipal solid waste dumpsters, it now says storage and maintenance of. The word over in the findings for the compost request has been changed to versus. And in condition number 4, the words "and maintenance" were added after repairs. So this is your motion intact with the approved amendments from last week. So I don't think you need to read it again. I think you're pretty familiar with it. But our recommendation to you is that you kind of start the bidding again here with a motion, a second, and then open it up to discussion. You can amend it just like you did last week. And you can, and when you're done offering and deciding on your amendments, you can take a vote again.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to amend condition number 6, the second paragraph, by striking that completely.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, we're going to vote on just this amendment? Yep.
Right, and it requires a supermajority.
Okay. All those in favor of deleting the second paragraph in section 6?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? One abstained.
One comment, it's condition 6, not section 6.
Section 6, excuse me.
Condition 6.
Condition 6.
Okay.
Any other
Anything
amendments?
else you want to change?
Any other amendments from the board? Are we ready for a vote on the main motion?
Okay, I will make the motion to approve, that the planning board vote to approve in part, deny in part, the application of Nathan Ellis Highway LLC under section 246.4.5D of the zoning bylaw for a plan entitled Proposed Usage Plan prepared by Nathan Ellis Highway Limited Liability Company of lots 10 and 11, Route 151, Falmouth, Mass., prepared by J.E. Colley, Landers Colley, P.E. scale 1 inch equals 40 feet, dated 5/4/15, with the following background information, findings, and conditions. And I will not read the entire motion.
I would second that.
So moved and seconded.
All those in favor?
Discussion.
Discussion? No, I was looking, Ralph, no one said it. You looked right at you. You
You
didn't
gotta
say-
ask for
You
Okay,
gotta
sorry.
ask, look into some
Gotta
work.
ask.
Ralph, do you have anything?
I don't have anything, no.
No, I'm sorry, I did it with my eyes. I looked at everybody, I should have asked. Yes, Pat?
Removal of this paragraph affects my reason for having voted against this.
I could tell, yeah. It wasn't all that important to me, I just, that the be in there, I just.
And it was important.
I knew, that's where I misread the situation,
I got a question.
yeah. Yep.
We're deleting the second paragraph. Are we also deleting the third, or is that?
Well, yeah, it used
the
to be
second
one
part-
paragraph, it's split on a
one
page.
paragraph.
That's all
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of
it
it?
used to be, the
Right.
pagination has
Yeah.
moved it to another page, but it's the
Okay.
same paragraph.
All right.
Okay, Ken, you're all, no more discussion from you?
No comment.
None for me.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? One abstained? Oh.
So this time it passed,
Well, one abstention.
yes.
General correspondence.
You don't have any correspondence for this week.
Next meeting, Tuesday, July 14th. Everyone here?
Yes.
Having
Good Lord, well, the creeks don't rise.
completed the agenda items, do I have,
I move adjournment.
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We got you out by 7, Paul.
And one abstention.